I bought this new flashlight at the Duen Jai store. It was like 50 baht. Batteries were like another 50 baht. And it's got 3 settings. It's got bright, which is good. It's got dim. I don't know when you'd ever need dim. And then it's got daylight. For 50 baht, that is a damn good flashlight. Thank you, Duen Jai store. Ui, น่ารักมีเยอะด้วย
หัดทำความสะอาดอาทิตย์ละ2 ครั้ง
อาทิตย์ละ2 ครั้ง
ใช่ค่ะ
ชอบไหมดูสนุกดูดีกว่าสนุก
โดนกัดเหมือนเพื่อนกัดมันเราก็ต้องแยกไว้ในตะกร้ามันจะได้ไม่โดนกัดซ้ำยังไม่สบายอย่างนี้สวยเอาละอันนั้นก็ดีจะจับไหมคะจับได้จับไหม
จับได้เหรอ
จับได้ค่ะ
Look at the size of it นี่ตัวใหญ่นะ อืมคิดว่าอายุเท่าไหร่ตัวนี้
ตัวนี้อายุประมาณ25 ปี
ว้าว
ตัวนี้แบบนี้
อืม
ก็เดินแบบโอ้โห
โอ้
นี่ไง
ใช่แกะแน่เลย I'm not really touching it. Don't worry. I just pretend I don't know how to read the signs. So this is Turtle Beach's travel bug, which we call the travel turtle. It has just been planted on Turtle Beach. You can be the first to discover it and take it with you on your travels. Ideally, this thing would travel around the world, come back here, go out again, cross oceans, just like real sea turtles. It has its tracking number on it. On the other side, it's got the website geocaching.com, where you go and you register your discovery. And then you take it with you someplace else and leave it somewhere imaginative for somebody else to find it. So this is awesome, and I'm going to put this back in its hidey hole, and we will track its progress here on my YouTube channel. All right? Come and find it. I'm doing this on the beach today because typically on the beach is private here. And today, for the most part, it's private. However, one of the homeless people who lives on the beach has decided that I'm fascinating, and he's been staring at me while I set up this shot. And that's okay. It's more his beach than it is my beach, right? But I'm also here because the humidity is great for my hair. No, I'm here because of the associations with eternity that the ocean has for all of us. Mother Ocean, right? A friend died this week, a man named Paul Dorsey, who had been an editor at The Nation back when I wrote for The Nation back in the 90s. And he had a long and very successful career as an editor at The Nation. He retired, I think, fairly recently, in the last couple years. And I don't yet know how he died. It's one of those things where in his last years, he seems to have removed himself from the company of his friends. He kind of withdrew more and more, and I don't know how eventually he died, but I'm pretty sure he was younger than me. So that makes you think. You know, Paul had been the book critic, the book reviewer at The Nation for many years. And that was a very powerful thing back when newspaper reviews sold books. He was a very powerful man in a very small world, the world of publishing in Thailand. And to get a review by Paul was a big deal in a writer's life. It was not only important because it sold books, but because Paul Dorsey knew writing. And he knew good writing from bad writing, and his position in the paper was such that he could say what he wanted. I had another friend die, just a few weeks ago, Colin Pipperell, a local writer. He had been writing about Thailand for 40 years. He's got books called, if you can find them, Too Many Women, Bangkok Nights with a K, Kicking Dogs, the novel Kicking Dogs, and the novel The Paradise Eater, The Lotus Eater, The Paradise Eater by John Ralston Saul. Those were the first two crime novels by Westerners set in Thailand. They launched this genre we're in now of crime novels set in Thailand, for better or worse. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. But at any rate, the deaths of these two friends in the last few weeks, ask not for whom the bell tolls, right? Makes you think. I'm 64 years old. I've had 2 heart attacks. I have 7 stents in my coronary arteries. I have to carry a bottle of nitroglycerin with me everywhere I go. And this thing has become a talisman. I've never had to use it. Carried it since 2011. The night I had my second heart attack in 2018, I couldn't find it. It turned out to be in the pocket of a pair of pants in the laundry. But the one time since 2011 I've needed it, I couldn't find it. So I carry it with me religiously. I'm on my morning bike ride here, and I've got it in my pocket. And I try not to leave the house without it. Well, recently I was at Super Cheap on Phuket. I came here with 6 months of my medications. I take a fistful of meds every day. Heart medications, stomach medications. And you can't find them on Turtle Beach. Our pharmacies here, sell dried lizard. They don't sell omeprazole. So I was at Super Cheap in Phuket, and I was in line. And there was a couple Farang in line, and we started talking. What are you getting? Oh, I'm getting this for my prostate. I'm getting this for my arthritis. I'm getting this for my heart. And I told them, that I carry nitroglycerin and I can't find it. If they don't carry omeprazole in Turtle Beach, they certainly don't carry nitroglycerin. And I tried at Super Cheap in Phuket, tried a couple of other pharmacies in Phuket, couldn't find it. I'm down to my last bottle. Typically I have 2 or 3 bottles around in case I lose one. I'm down to my last bottle and I can't find a source, can't find a dealer. And one of the old men in line with me said, "Oh, mate, that's a scam." He said, "Listen to me." He said, "I've worked in hospitals." He said, "It's a placebo. They give it to heart patients to calm them down. Just keeping it in your pocket makes you feel safe. By the time you feel severe angina, you have to get to a cath lab and get pumped out. You know, no pill is going to fix that. But they give you this stuff, you know, so that it just, you feel like you're prepared for the big one when it comes." My heart attacks are STEMIs, what they call STEMIs, ST elevation myocardial infarction, in the LAD, the left anterior descending artery, which is the artery that feeds blood to the heart muscle itself. It's the most important artery in your body. And mine has been 99% occluded twice, 99% plugged up twice, the most important artery. They call it the widowmaker. They call an LAD STEMI a widowmaker. You're not supposed to survive. I've survived 2. They said you'll never survive a 3rd. And my friends are dropping like flies around me. All the guys from the old days, all the guys from the 80s and the 90s that I knew, they're dropping like flies. But I'll tell you the comfort I carry. I'm going to continue carrying the nitro, by the way. whatever that guy who worked in hospitals. Yeah, so did I, dude, as a clerk. Doesn't make me a doctor. That's not a medical degree. I can spell every organ in the human body. Doesn't mean I can cure your angina, right? At any rate, I had this friend when I started smoking, which is another thing that occludes your coronary arteries. And I still smoke a pack a day, by the way. I ride the bike every morning, 10 kilometers. Still smoke a pack a day. But I carry my nitro. I'm safe. Anyway, I had this friend when we all started smoking. I was 15 years old. All the guys from school started smoking. And we couldn't smoke at home. Mom would flip out. So we'd go under this bridge. There was the Melrose Avenue Bridge that went over the train tracks. And you could go under there and nobody would see you and you could smoke cigarettes. And eventually we moved on to other drugs under there. But it started with cigarettes. So there was a guy named Steve Siemens who used to smoke under the bridge with us. And he only came for a little while. It was like half of the 7th grade. And then he said he was leaving. And we said, "Why?" He said, "Well, my parents think because I'm smoking now, I've fallen in with a bad crowd. They're going to send me to live with my grandmother out in the cornfields somewhere way up in north central Iowa in a 100-year-old farmhouse that's on the historical registry. And they think that going to a small school out in the country, it'll be easier to keep me out of trouble. So this is it. I'll see you guys." And we said, "Okay, bye, Steve." So he goes to live with his grandmother in a 100-year-old farmhouse in north central Iowa. 3 days after he gets there, he falls asleep in bed with a cigarette, burns the house down, kills himself and his grandmother, and destroys a 100-year-old national landmark. 3 days in the better environment, and he falls asleep in bed with a cigarette, burns the house down. So ever since then, that hit me, man. I liked Steve. I knew him. I can hear his voice in my head right now. I can see him under the Melrose Avenue Bridge, sitting in the shade, smoking a cigarette. And for the rest of my life, every time something important has happened, the day I graduated from high school is the first one I can remember, but having kids, definitely. Getting important jobs, getting married. I always thought of Steve Siemens. He died at 15 in his sleep. I hope he was asleep. Without ever experiencing any of that. I'm sure he'd never kissed a girl. I'm sure he was a virgin, right? Never got married. As far as I know, he never had a fist fight. Never tasted caviar. Never heard an audience of 2,500 people spring to their feet and applaud, shout and holler. Never came to Thailand. Never did all those wonderful things that keep us in Thailand. Never had a YouTube channel, never saw YouTube. So I think of Steve Siemens, and now I'm thinking of Colin Pipperell, and Paul Dorsey and myself, right? Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for every single one of us. We're all doomed. We're all walking on thin ice. We're all one heartbeat away from oblivion. And the camera very much does not like this sun in its face. So I'm going to let you go. Thank you for listening. I will see you next week. Like, subscribe, share, and brothers and sisters, stay alive. Stay alive. Stay alive. And enjoy the view.